Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp, and to that series where Glen and I basically hurt your wallets a little bit.
Yep, this is our midweek sales episode where we're looking at games for at least 50% off, if not higher. Normally they are, right up there.
Right up there with the best of them.
Absolutely.
So do save yourself a little bit of money on your eShop credit. You can do that over at switchup.gg where you get 5% back in cashback.
You do indeed. So which games have we chosen? Well, let's find out.
First up, we've got Latte Stand Tycoon. Is it latte? Latte?
Latte, I'd say.
Yeah, you say latte, I say latte. This, right, is, guess what it's about?
I reckon that you need to build an empire, starting from very humble beginnings with a little stand where you sell lattes.
You're spot on, mate.
Yeah, I thought so. I played it before.
You play as Maya and Mia, both of them.
Right.
And they're trying to make a name for themselves in the town of Falling Leaves.
Yep.
Latte stand.
Yeah.
Selling coffee.
I like that. I do like a latte. Do you like latte?
Do you know what? It's a bit too milky for me, but I really do like a coffee in general.
Yeah, no, latte is my coffee of choice.
Is it?
Yep. I have vanilla, soya milk, extra hot, like stupid hot, and
Soy boy, is it?
No. It's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. It's because if I have it with skimmed milk, it tastes like drain water after a while. It needs to be a bit thicker.
Fair enough.
So it's got to be soya milk. That's all there is, I'm afraid.
Full fat cow's milk.
Yeah, there is that, but at our age, you know what it's like. You have a couple of those, before you know it, Mr. Blobby's walking down the street, isn't he? So, got to look after yourself.
People are like, would you two shut up and just talk about the bloody game? We've got Latte Stand Tycoon Plus, which is from, I believe, one developer, and it was like their first game released on Switch about a year ago now. But it's a fun little simplistic, what do you call those, where you just run the thing?
Management sim.
Yeah, management
like a basic
sim.
management sim. Yeah.
Exactly right. Very chilled out, like you have a few different locations in that town. Bit of story to it as well. Nice little game. Just 184 megs and down to its lowest ever price of just 89 pence.
Next then we've got Powerslave Exhumed, which is a game from back in the day. I believe it was on the Dreamcast, but don't quote me on that. It was around about that era at the very least. And this is from Night Dive on their Kex engine, doing all the things they do. And it's a first person shooter. But what I like about this one is, well, a couple of things actually. It's got like an Egyptian theme. I think you're in like the tomb of Ramesses, something like that. And also it's almost borderline Metroidvania in terms of the weapons you find and whatnot, and then going back and exploring previous parts of the levels and what have you. So it's just quite a different take on a first-person shooter, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything Night Dive does, really, I'm liking at the moment, you know, just having everything run so well. They usually put things like motion controls in. I don't think I've played this one, personally.
I reviewed it, and I don't remember about motion controls, I must say. I know it ran at 60, nice, smooth 60.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, good game.
Lovely stuff. Now, I've put Scribblenauts Mega Pack in as kind of like a kid's pick.
Right.
I hate Scribblenauts.
Oh, would you?
I think it's so boring. but you know, I think you'll understand why it's in there. So this pack includes both of the titles I think that are on Switch. You've got Scribblenauts Unlimited, which has more of a story element to it. If you've not played the Scribblenauts games, you can basically like type out anything. Like you could write, I don't know, log, and a log would appear.
Yeah.
Have you played these, right?
Yeah. I played them back on the DS when they first released, and you had Scribblenauts, which, as you say, you could think of an object and it will help you solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
So it'll give you a hint as to what you need to do. There'll be a star somewhere in the level you've got to collect. And then they made Super Scribblenauts, which had adjectives added to it. And since then they've done things like DC Hero, Scribblenauts and all sorts. Is that one of the games in here?
That's one of them, yeah. You've got Scribblenauts Unmasked, a DC Comics adventure. The reason I put it in is one of my boys is kind of struggling with spelling and stuff.
Yeah.
And having that element in the game is very handy. You know, like just seeing the words sometimes helps, doesn't it? And if it's in a bit of a fun environment.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a good kids game. I mean, it's decent enough for adults, but you do start to find there are certain things you can just type in that will just clear most levels.
Yeah.
But for kids, no, for sure, that'd be a good game to play.
That one is 90% off, down to £2.49 until April the 9th. We are going back and forth, by the way, between the two regions. So the one that Glen just said about Powerslave, that's not in the UK, and it might be the same for some of these for the US.
We then have Cattails, I'm not saying it's the best game ever made, but it's certainly very well crafted. I enjoyed it, I had fun with it, I liked the environment, I thought it was a very pleasant game to look at. You know, not only did it have the pixel art, but it had a nice vibrant colour palette as well, and a decent enough story if you're interested in story in games. And it's 75% off at this moment in time. It's one of those games that kind of fills a void. You know, if you're looking for something to play, you don't want it to be too long. This would certainly help you out with that, I think. As I said, 75% off until the 2nd of April. Yeah, one of those recommendations that when it's on sale, it's the perfect time to pick it up.
Yeah, it's probably worth saying as well that the sequel, Cattails Wildwood Story, is also on sale at the same price. Their game's based on a series of books called The Warrior Cats.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that my daughter reads. I didn't know this.
No, yeah, I didn't.
She was playing this game. She was like, do you realise the guy that made these games based it on that? I was like, no, I didn't have a clue. I'll make sure we let people know.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, for that price, I think Wildwood Story is much better.
I have only played the first, so I couldn't recommend anything. But yeah, nice, there we go. Even more option.
Okay, coming in the next one, we've got For a Vast Future, which I think was from Red Deer Games?
This is, published by them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's 87% off. This has like a real nice sepia tone. It's an RPG, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like an old Game Boy game, and you can change the, like you could on the Super Game Boy, you know, like you had 4 colours that you could shift between and change the tone of it. And this one tells the story of like a dystopian future where you play as this young girl who's an orphan and she's out just surviving basically, and she's trying to get somewhere, I forget where now, and this robot helps her, and he says, I'll come with you, I'll help you on the way, and he becomes part of your team, you know. But in her mind, she's thinking that when they get there, she's going to basically dismantle him and sell him for scrap. And obviously, I suppose, you know, they become friends along the way, but it's just quite an interesting dynamic between the two of them. And it has like a first-person battle system, you know, like in the old dungeon crawlers where the characters are in front of you, looking at you. Yeah. As you had to wait your turn and do damage. Just a decent game. Again, nothing world-ending, but for 87% off, you can do a lot worse.
Nothing world-ending. That was a little post-apocalyptic pun in there.
There we go, yeah, very droll.
Gato Roboto, however you want to say it, Glenn. It's like a little black and white 2D Metroidvania featuring a cat that you reviewed.
Yeah, I did. And again, similar to the last two, to be honest, just a very well crafted, nice, succinct game for a very good price at the minute. This possibly the best out of those 3, I would say. But all worth playing and different enough that you could play all 3 of them. Has like a Spectrum feel to it.
It does, yeah.
You know, certainly in terms of its aesthetic, but just in terms of its general play. That's not to say you could play this on a Spectrum, but it just reminds me of that era. And again, you know the drill. You'll go along and you'll pick up certain powers and you'll be able to get to the next part. There are boss battles in there and everything else. Just a fun game. What is it, 75% off? Yeah, until the 2nd of April. Worth playing. I really did enjoy this one, actually.
Ganryu 2 is 90% off. Now, this is the sequel to 1999 Neo Geo Ganryu 1, and unfortunately when we first played it, it had some severe performance issues, like it had some slowdowns. I think it even had some game-breaking bugs and whatnot. But then I revisited it about maybe a year later, actually, and it was all patched up. And it was a really fun game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it reminded me of like a Shinobi game, that sort of thing, you know, hack and slash platformer. And it was one of those where for the first couple of levels, you're playing it and thinking, this is on for a good score, like this is very good. And then unfortunately, as Mark said, these issues became, well, first of all, reared their head and then become quite prevalent and spoilt the experience. But thankfully it has since been patched, as Mark said. But yeah, 90% off until the 5th of April. One that now, you know, happily we can recommend.
Easily, yeah, for sure.
Mother Russia Bleeds is the next one, which is 86% off until the 3rd of April, and this is a beat 'em up, quite a bloody beat 'em up. You know, this is quite a violent game set in like a post-apocalyptic Russia, and this is one that gets recommended to me a lot. You know, we do a lot of, or you know, beat 'em up lists, or just mentioning beat 'em ups in general, and this is one that people always say is well worth playing. And again, at this price at the moment, it brings it down to silly money, really.
Yeah, why have we never played this one in co-op?
I don't really know, to be honest. It's one of those, there are so many that certain games just kind of pass you by, but it might be time to give this one a go.
I reckon.
You know, in co-op and see how it goes, because yeah, this is one that certain people swear by.
After that then, we've got a recommendation that you made, so I think it might be in the US regions. It's Deponia Collection, which is 90% off. I love these games. I didn't realise actually these are made in the, I think it's the AGS, the Adventure Games Studio engine. I could be wrong. Someone let me know in the comments. It's like, it's quite a tight community around adventure games. Like, and a lot of people that like them seem to make them as well.
Right, okay.
You know, there's a lot of creators that you can use. And I think the Adventure Game Studio was used for this, but either way, it's a very good collection of old school point and click adventures featuring the classic idiot character. the idiot main character who does stupid things, says some absolutely outrageous lines. In that regard, I guess it feels potentially a little outdated. If you're easily offended, these might not be very good for you, but I thoroughly enjoyed them. And I haven't even finished them all yet.
There's 4 games in this collection then. So you got Deponia, the first one, you got Chaos on Deponia, Deponia Doomsday, and Goodbye Deponia.
Lovely. That sale is 90% off, as I say, until April the 4th.
Today. Yet when Goal and Elysium appears, everything changes.
We need to go back to Elysium.
Together, Rufus and Goal try to escape from Deponia. Here we go.
Now, the final game is the Saints Row, the big purple package bundle.
Okay.
Which is 90% off. That's a lot of discount on a lot of package. But really, like 2 games that personally I never felt like they did rival GTA. I think they're quite a different, you know, yes, I get it. It's the same perspective, same type of structure, but they're ludicrous. They're absolutely bonkers. They didn't feel the same to me, but I guess that's the easiest way for me to explain kind of what they are. Got the semi-GTA open world structure, take any car, but they had like a real faction system, so you would have to build up your own, the Saints, you know, were a faction. And you had to build them up, build up their base. The things you do affect who's in your group. Ludicrous, ridiculous weapons, perfect for a sale in my opinion. And also when they launched, they were in a terrible state. They actually run well now. I actually preferred the 4th one, although most people didn't. Like, it really goes off the rails. Like, the 3rd one was ridiculous, and the 4th one's like, it's like the fever dream of an insane person. It starts out in this like weird 1940s, 50s, or it might be 30s, hero setting. You play out this whole prologue and you're like, what the hell is going on? And then it plummets you back into like normal modern day and with a floppy weapon in your hand. I can't say much more than that without basically the channel getting shut down.
I'm sure people will get the idea. The floppy weapon there.
If you like the Saints Row games, 90% off is a silly price for the 2 of them together. That sale goes on only a couple of days till March the 27th.
Right, that's the end of it then. That's 10 games on sale as it currently stands. Mark did allude to it there. The eShop seems to have changed a little bit in terms of how it does their sales now. It used to be if a game was on sale, it was on sale pretty much everywhere. Now we have to kind of choose between regions to spread it out across everyone that watches these videos. So hopefully there's something there for everyone. And don't forget, as Mark also said, if you want to buy any of these, you can use our website, switchup.gg, to get your eShop cards, and you get 5% of your purchase price back as cashback. And there are other links down there to places such as Play Asia. Again, use our link and code, and you get yourself some money off there too. If you're looking for something else to watch, I've just released another video on my second channel, GB Bricks, and this one is quite special to me actually. This is showing off one of my mocks, that's my own creations. This is a coffee shop. I built it quite a while ago. It was my second ever mock. I'm kind of documenting each of them, and anyone that would like to give that a watch, it would be much appreciated. As I say, this is a bit of a personal project for me, so I'll put a card to that in the top right hand corner. Yeah, really would appreciate if you could give that a watch. Quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.